Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and inside of this unboxing video, I'm very excited to be checking out a game that has now landed back on Kickstarter for a reprint, and on top of that, additional content coming for the game of Unsettled, which is published by Orange Nebula. Inside of this video, my focus is going to be showing you everything you can expect to find inside of the base box, which is called the base framework of the game. There are expansion boxes, which are of a smaller size, and you'll see those as we go through. It's also worth noting as a disclaimer, I'm not going to go through absolutely everything in the box because I really do want to avoid spoilers, as this game is all about space and exploring and finding things that you're not expecting or anticipating. So I'm not going to show you everything because I really want that game experience to be kept for you when you actually pick the game up yourself, if you decide you're interested in it. So without further ado, let's flip this over, find out more about the game itself, and then we'll dig into the components inside the box. There's even a warning about the game right on the back of the box. It says, "Figure it out or die." Unsettled is a series of collaborative survival puzzles set in a wondrous and bizarre fringes of uncharted space. Now, after being violently torn through a wormhole, your crew of distraught but determined scientists must pull together to achieve your shared goal of continued existence amid distressing alien environments that erode your endurance and consume precious time. Utilize strange scientific breakthroughs to expand how you can interact with the game environment and adapt to the personality quirks of each crew member as the group trust fluctuates. Each time you play, you'll pair this base framework with one of the many wildly unique planet boxes, two of which are included here. Each planet features an entirely new set of cards and tokens, scientific breakthrough abilities to unlock, bizarre creatures and objects to discover, and planet-specific storylines and mechanics that alter how the game is played. You'll also see a listing of all the components you're going to find inside the box right here to the right. You'll notice there's a whole bunch of avatars inside the game, 15 different ones mentioned here, and you're adapting on the fly as your crew's group trust overall and personality traits change. So this also, as you can see from the logo at the back of the box, includes game trays for its storage solution. You'll see this as we dive in right now. With the box lid off, the very first thing you run into is a rules and procedures booklet. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the pages inside. Very similar to the shape of the box, the rulebook is designed in the exact same way to fit perfectly within. So very long and tall. It says the unthinkable on the left-hand side, giving you some narrative as to the backstory of this particular game. On the right-hand side, it's all around the approach to the game, how to approach the rulebook itself in terms of unpacking everything. The rulebook layout, this is some good information you'll need to know to get you going. On this page, you can see the game format as well as the base framework for the game and the components listed all out to get a better understanding of what's inside the box. Now, this is a big one as it shows you how the game is set up around the table, and it's going to walk you step by step through all of that process. And right from there, it starts moving into the planet-specific setup. It's going to go into what you need to know before you begin, the conceptual overview, how the turn overview works, and the end game, all laid out at the beginning of this book. This is a good example as to how the rulebook is laid out. There's lots of illustrations, there's tips, and there's shadowed in areas of information to keep your eyes on as you read through and learn how to play Unsettled. Skipping ahead a few pages, you can see areas touching on focus, the focus actions and action spaces within the game, all illustrated really well, and again, highlights across the board and some helpful tips to remember. At the very tail end of this booklet, there's a section called Advanced Directives. It's an index, and it literally says in the top left, stop, don't do this to yourself. Don't read a single word of this until you need to, which is hopefully never. So essentially what this is going to capture is just edge case stuff. So if there's ever a conflict during gameplay or uncertainty around something, you can come to this area to sort it out. You don't need to read this information prior to going into the game and to begin enjoying it, but this section does exist. Also inside the box, you're going to find some primary iconography as well as a rundown of the main actions, free actions, and more free actions, really. There's a whole bunch. And these are double-sided. I'm showing you both sides of each of these cards, so there's one for every player. Of course, if you're playing solo, you'll only need one. With the rules and procedures booklet out of the way, as well as the iconography references, we now move to the game box, where there is a number of game trays in a pile here. I'm going to turn this box on its side. As you probably noticed, there are cutouts on the side as well. These cutouts, if I'm interpreting them correctly, make it much easier to be able to pull contents out of the box that are wedged in there. We all have run into that feeling before of having a tray inside of a game box perfectly, but then a big time struggle or what seems to be stress on the game box as you jam your hands down trying to pull it out. This I really like. These are the 4 trays that come out of the base box, the first things you'll run into that are meant for setup, and these all have a specific job, being that they're main boards and breakthrough boards within the game. So this one right here, right in front of us, is called the resource board. The breakthrough board is to the right of it, right here. On the far right, we have what is referred to as the moment board, and then on the far left, we have the group trust and time board. So all these are going to serve major portions of the setup and gameplay. You'll be tracking information across all of them. And just so you can see them a little bit better and right side up, we have the resource board at the very top, the breakthrough board down below, and they have different areas for storing all of the different components that each of these boards is handling. We have the moment board on the bottom and the group trust and time board up top. As we continue down through the box, we now hit the actual planet boxes. And again, there's more of these planet boxes that you can pick up separately outside of this core box, but there's 2 inside. The first one here on the left is Winora, and the one on the right is Gracchus. One thing you're going to notice on each of these planet boxes in the bottom right hand corner is the challenge level, giving you a heads up as to how challenging that planet is going to be. We have 1 node filled in on the left one and 2 for the second one on the right. On the back of both boxes it states, Winora, embrace your fungal hosts and discover mind-bending abilities beyond imagination or be absorbed forever. There's also a breakdown of everything that's inside these boxes, and we will quickly go over them as well. Gracchus on the right-hand side says, discover pathways to the skies to escape violent storms and enormous creatures that haunt the surface. It's also worth noting on the sides of the boxes, which you can see down here, is a picture of the planet itself as well, illustrated. Now, beyond the 2 planets that are included inside the base game, here is a look at the additional 4 other planets that were available in the very first Kickstarter and are still available in the current running Kickstarter as well, plus additional content with that reprint. So you can see here of varying difficulty levels in terms of the challenges for each of these. These are going to give you all kinds of options to supplement your gameplay in Unsettled. For those interested, here is a look at the back of each of the expansion boxes. In an effort to avoid spoilers, we'll go ahead and just take a look at the very first planet box for Winora, and you can see as soon as you open it up, you get yourself a travel log and a narrative around it. This one includes a punch board, and I'll take a look at the back of this for you as well. Flipping it over, looks like this, and then another punch board underneath. Flipping this one over, it looks like this. At this point, we now get inside of the game Trayz box, which houses more components specific to the planet. You can simply lift the entire piece straight out of the box. It even has sides in order to allow you to pop the edges off quite easily, even with just one hand. And you'll pop each edge off until it releases. Cards inside are sealed. And of course, I'm not going to go through these because for fear of spoilers, but you're going to get a whole bunch of mini cards and a whole bunch of planet cards that you'll be using as you traverse through this planet, not knowing what you're going to run into. We are now nearing the bottom of the box. You can see some player boards coming up, and I believe there's another tray at the bottom housing more storage. We'll find out soon enough. I gotta say, I really like the look of these recessed player boards. If you can't see it, there are spots that actually fit all the different tokens and cubes and everything else to be using to track things on your player boards. The colors are also very, very vibrant. I'll go ahead and just lift one of these sideways so you can see the recessed areas. But yes, very much like the color scheme of all of these. Next, we have 3 more punch boards. These house the spaceship tiles that are double-sided across the top. We also have some structure tiles down below. These are the trait tiles. And then in terms of different tokens, there's personal avatar tiles. There's 4 robotics comprehension tokens, 4 engineering comprehension tokens, and 4 chemistry. And you can see the difference between each of those 3 split up by workshop, research hut, and laboratory. They're color-coded. And then there's also investigation tokens, which are these ones right here, and you have a bunch of timeline trigger tokens kind of buried amongst things as well. And here's also a quick view of the back of each of the punch boards. The final tray inside the box you can leave in the box when you're playing the game, or you can pull it out if you'd like, as it does house a bunch of the components that you will need or use, but you'll likely be pulling all these out of the box as you play through it. We'll go ahead and take a look at each of these up close now. And that, my friends, is going to wrap up this unboxing for Unsettled, the base framework, as well as a quick look at the expansions you can add into the game. If you're interested in jumping in on this one, as I mentioned earlier in the video, it is on crowdfunding right now. I'll put a link to it in the description and pinned comment. So for those that are looking for more information around what's being offered now, hopefully this video helps you make an informed decision as to what you can expect to find inside the game box, but also look to that crowdfunding campaign for anything additional being added in from the original one. Really excited to see how that campaign unfolds, and thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, keep on rolling solo.